Does anyone miss national lockdown? I'm very aware of how horrible a time it was for a lot of people. My heart breaks for those who struggled and I mourn with you. I am by no means trying to glorify a pandemic and I'm personally lucky that it didn't affect my family. I definitely wouldn't wish anything like it ever happen again and I do not miss how it impacted the world and caused so much suffering. I really do apologize if I sound selfish, I'm not trying to be. I just miss how content I was for the first time. I don't think I'd ever been so happy in my adult life and my mental health really began to pick up. I got to pick up and spend time on new hobbies, do quiz nights with friends, hang out with family properly and go on walks with my dogs. For once I genuinely felt rested. Everyone was supportive and connected and people seemed kinder. Life felt fresh for a while. It was just so peaceful for me in a way that nothing else I've experienced yet has quite come close to. ETA. I am not hoping for another lockdown. The only reason I enjoyed this lockdown so much was because we all carried the same hope that it'd be over in a few weeks. I was happy back then because I was hopeful. I didn't know that we'd still be going round in circles 2 years later. Edit. People are really upset with me. As I mentioned, I clearly experienced one of the better sides of lockdown at the beginning and I am very lucky and forever grateful that I did. I'm fully aware lockdown was awful for so many people and I would have given anything to change that. This post wasn't an attempt at a flex or, look at me I had a great time. My heart really hurts for all of you that had a shitty time. I'll say it again, I don't wish for another lockdown. I wouldn't ever wish for a repeat of the same pain that people went through. What I'm referring to is the first lockdown and the brief 3 weeks of happiness I, and clearly so many others, experienced for the first time since being an adult. COVID has since been shitting on my life too. I'm sick to death of it all now. I have lost my spark. I share your pain. I'm just nostalgic for a time in my life where I was happy. I'm far from privileged. I am literally working class. I was unemployed because of COVID. I've had COVID twice. It's shit, I know. I understand you're very much allowed to express your opinions on Reddit, but personally messaging me calling me shitty names and telling me I'm sick or a psycho is not a good way to go about voicing them. Stop being immature about it. Edit. I am no longer replying to those assuming aspects of my life. As mentioned, working class, full-time BSc student, work 25 hours a week. Never taken anything from the government. Wasn't furloughed at the time. I was using savings that I worked hard for. My apologies that I once got to experience a few weeks of happiness when I was allowed to rest and focus on something other than the rat race. God, some of you can be pricks. I will not dispute any opinions, you're all entitled to them, but just get out of my DMs and argue amongst yourselves on this thread instead please. I have explained myself multiple times. All introverts mourn for those lost times. Did so much gaming it wasn't even funny. I feel so terrible for all the death and sorrow and suffering of all kinds. My heart breaks for the world. But I am wildly introverted and have ASD. The relief from incessant social pressures is indescribable. There is a certain nostalgia to it, isn't there? I'm in Arizona so I never experienced any of this. Mostly it was just being called a homosexual for wearing a mask in public. I think our shutdown lasted 24 hours before the governor was like, "Hey, fuck it." I personally miss the time I got to spend with my significant other being home. It was the most time I had consecutively with him in 7 years. I also have agoraphobia and PTSD. I had just lost my best friend to overdose at the beginning of the pandemic, so it was therapeutic to feel the world still, slow down for a while. I truly loved it too. For once it felt like a break from the rat race. Like everyone was on the same playing field for the first time. I'm also lucky that the virus didn't impact my family, friends, knock on wood. This is definitely a too afraid to ask question. I known people who will get their knives and pinch forks out by hearing this question and will maim me real bad. I loved every minute. My wife was pregnant so I got to help out a lot, played COD and work was checking emails every now and again. No in-laws, birthday visits, Christmas with just family. The Tiger King was just the icing on top. The 1 month we were locked down was incredible, the happiest I've ever been in my adult life. And then I had to go back to work and ISTG customers are even worse than before. And they're spreading literal plague while yelling at you, unmasked, for things so far beyond your control. I'm fucking tired, man. Not at all. Myself, and virtually everyone I associate with all just went about our lives of working, essential workers, and living day to day with added BS of constantly worrying about masks and waiting for the other shoe to drop in this mess, like which job site would be the next super spreader event and when we'd be told to quarantine because someone tested positive. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. I miss the empty airports, empty parks, and cheap hotel stays. First time in my life, I was able to go on a vacation and afford it. The fear of death always lurking, but I used double masks, steroid nasal spray, vitamin D. This was before the vaccines. Dude, same. I've never expressed this to anyone, but this is exactly how I feel. I was in the best headspace I'd been in years. I loved the shit out of lockdown. I'm still working from home now. I absolutely love my life and I wish it would continue like this forever. Summer of 2016 for the extroverts. Greater than. Pokemon Go. Less than spring of 2020 was for the introverts. Greater than. Animal Crossing. New Horizons. Less than. It was the happiest time I can remember. I made art every day, experienced absolutely no symptoms of my GAD and depression. It was, however, a bit of a wake-up call in regards to my mental health and lifestyle. Now I'm working on how to make every day feel like lockdown, without the isolation. Personally, no. I am extroverted to the point where I do almost crazy shit to be able to hang out with people. Not dangerous, psychotic. Just I go to very far lengths to be able to hang out people. So a pandemic where I had to be in my house all the time with no social interaction for 6 months. That's how long I could take it before I started seeing people occasionally again. It destroyed me. It's been almost 2 years at this point and I'm scared because my mental health never recovered. I'm worried it never will. It's like something inside me permanently broke. I can't function the way I used to ever since it happened. And it's crazy because I didn't even have it bad. I didn't get COVID. Nobody I knew got COVID. Nobody I knew died. My job was secure. The only reason I can think that this whole ordeal messed me up so much is that I must be a lot more extroverted than I ever knew I was. Where I live, Omicron has led to basically lockdown again. I think it's funny how different people are. A few of my friends said lockdown felt like paradise for them too. But it permanently damaged my mental state in ways I don't think I'll ever heal from. I don't even recognize myself anymore. Really showed me how different introversion, extroversion is in some people. It was so silent everywhere, nearly no cars and people. At work everyone was at home except a few people and me. So yeah, I also miss a national lockdown. I felt kinda free while lockdown. Yes, I miss saving so much money as well. Yes. I took online singing lessons and belly dance lessons and did a different online workout every day, including Jane Fonda and Richard Simmons. I had to because I was also making a different kind of muffins every day. I still have a notebook of my favorite muffin recipes. I hate the fact that people died, but dang, I missed never having to go to school physically, study comfortably and enjoy my hobbies.